It is no secret. We've been talking about it for months. The economic trouble brewing here in the United States and also in Europe. Our friend and contributing editor, Danny Blanchflower, says lawmakers in the United States are bringing this country to the brink of financial disaster in an apparently willful act of sabotage. For Europe, Danny says it may be too late. Danny is an economics professor at Dartmouth College and a former member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee. He's in London this morning with our colleague Maryam Nemazee. Maryam.
Hey, Eric. Well, yeah, as you know, EU leaders just starting to arrive at the summit that's taking place in Brussels right now. And I'm pleased to say Danny Blanchflower in the studio with me now. And Danny, we've had actually a couple of headlines coming out already. Right. If we just talk about debt on this side of the Atlantic first, we're getting headlines that the EU would potentially guarantee Greek bonds in the event of a temporary default. Now,
At last. Took us a year and a half.
But is this acceptable to the ECB?
Well, it probably isn't, but maybe they've done a deal. I mean, I had a suspicion last week when there was a unanimous vote to raise rates that perhaps the governors of the banks of Greece and Ireland and Spain and Portugal that voted for it might have done it because a deal was being done on other bits of this package. So maybe there's some hope, but it's taken them a year and a half. And why didn't they do this a year and a half ago?
Well, I guess it's been difficult getting consensus together. There have been obstacles to that, you know, disagreement over the extent of private sector involvement and the ECB being, well, I guess the main thing is that people want to avoid triggering a default. I mean, it's been difficult.
Well, good try. I mean, yes, that's right. But who's going to be convinced that actually this is the end anyway? I mean, the 11th hour, Sarkozy and Merkel apparently have done some deal. The question is, will the markets believe that this is enough? Probably not.
Is it a step in the right direction?
Well, it's obviously a step in the right direction, but a little too late. But maybe at the last moment they've done it. I mean, the big question really, I think, is, are they going to announce a Euro bond? That looks like the thing that probably would rescue this. I think that's really what we should be looking for today. Is there a step closer to that? And I think that the markets will be wanting to hear that that's going to happen.
Okay, now I want to ask you about ongoing debt ceiling negotiations on the other side of the Atlantic. And, well, I mean, these are some pretty strong words that you've written. A willful act of sabotage by US legislators. Is that perhaps an exaggeration there? Very strong word.
Well, not really. I mean, if you look at the history, the debt ceiling has been raised 74 times in the last half century. It was raised 18 times under Reagan. In the past, it never seemed like a big deal. So why all of a sudden is this the case? Well, I suppose what it is we have a new set of Republican Tea Partyists, but this looks like something that would be, I mean, I call it an economic suicide note. Obama, Bernanke, Geithner have all said this is absolutely a crazy thing to do, voluntarily defaulting on the debt. It makes no sense whatsoever and can only harm the economy. And those who say it wouldn't do anything, in general, have no understanding of economics at all. It would be a disaster. So any deal that prevents that default would be good. You'd like a long-run deal, but if it's a short-run deal...
But it looks like a short-term deal, a concession there for Barack Obama.
Well, it's a concession, but the last thing in the world they should be doing is having a default on US's debt. Never done it before. I mean, we can look at Greece. Over 250 years, Greece has been in 200 years. It's been in default, and the US has been in zero, and it should continue to be in zero. This is, I mean, to have got this close seems crazy.
Okay, strong comments, strong opinions. Danny Blanchflower, a friend. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, great to talk to you. Thanks so much, Danny Blanchflower, Bloomberg contributing editor of Dartmouth College over in the US.